Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today on Politicians Are Clowns, we're going to be going over the vice presidential debates between Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence. Overall, Kamala Harris did a pretty good job of the debate. She was enthusiastic enough. Mike Pence sort of came off as a little unenergetic. But Kamala Harris made a number of economic fails, mistakes that cannot go ignored. So we're going to go over those today. Kamala Harris's biggest 3 economic fails during the vice presidential debate. But before we get started, if you all could subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, that would be amazingly helpful to our channel. We're a very small channel as of the moment. We only have a couple subscribers. So if you could do any of this, that would be immensely helpful. Thank you so much. Alright, on to number 1, the economy. For the economy, Moody's Analytics predicts that Joe Biden's economic plan, therefore Kamala Harris's economic plan, will create millions more jobs than Donald Trump's economic plan. And it'll be done through, surprise, surprise, deficit spending. $7 trillion will be quote-unquote invested in the economy. By the way, when it says investment, that doesn't really mean investment. It means taxing money out of your pockets and spending it on something else. And they're going to be raising taxes by $4 trillion over the course of the next 10 years. Now, all this deficit spending is rather dangerous. Before coronavirus, the Trump administration had a budget deficit of $1 trillion. That means we owed $1 trillion more dollars every single year to foreign nations and to our own people. That's what the government owed. That's alarming. And after coronavirus, we approved multi-trillion-dollar relief packages, which puts the debt sky high right now, and Joe Biden is planning to increase that debt by $3 trillion, so it would seem, over the course of the next 10 years, and it's probably more than that because they probably underestimate the costs associated with the plans that they want to enact. Now, one has to consider that when you tax money out of the economy and you spend it somewhere else, that doesn't create the wealth that you tax out of the economy. It doesn't put that wealth somewhere else. It's a net loss of wealth to the economy, because you're taxing the dollars out of an area of the economy that the economy values. This is stuff like building the next big thing, building the next big iPhone, investment money to do something like that, or for a middle-class family to buy a house. And by the way, if you think this is just an upper tax bracket tax hike, you are mistaken, because oftentimes the upper tax brackets, the people in that upper tax bracket are the people who create the jobs in the economy. So if you tax them, they're going to hire fewer people and they're going to lower your wages. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. That is what will happen if you tax them enough. We have to consider that when you're taxing this money out of the economy, what you're really taxing is things in the economy that people value. Now, you could argue that taxing the money out and putting it on something else, like education, climate change, maybe that's worth it. Maybe it's worth it to rob a mother of the dollars she needs to buy her child a toy at Christmas, or maybe it's worth it to take the money away from the firm on the verge of scientific discovery, the next big thing which could benefit millions of lives. You could argue that. But you have to bring that conversation to the table, and I don't think the Biden administration is considering that at all. Things to think about. The second thing is the Supreme Court. Back in 2013, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, he was a Democrat, he invoked the nuclear option. That's what he created in 2013. Basically, the nuclear option says, rather than needing a 60-40 majority in the Senate to confirm a judge, you only need a 50-50 majority. This was so Obama could nominate judges, and then the Senate could confirm them pretty readily, pretty quickly to the courts. This obviously angered the Republicans, and back in the day, Mitch McConnell said that Harry Reid and the Democrats would regret this sooner rather than later. And he was right, because he invoked the nuclear option when he became the Senate Majority Leader. He made the nuclear option, he expanded the nuclear option to Supreme Court justices as well, and used it to confirm Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and now he may well use it to confirm Amy Coney Barrett, making Trump the first president in a long time maybe ever, to confirm 3 Supreme Court justices, and it will be only in one term. Now, Kamala Harris, at the debate tonight, was non-committal on whether she would pack the courts in retaliation to this move. What we're seeing here is the Democrats and Republicans in turn taking steps down a path of viciousness and vileness, and it will not end well, and it will be very, very messy. They'll do everything they can to gain power and get at each other's throats regarding the courts. And if this sort of thing continues, if Kamala Harris and the Democrats do pack the court, this will be ugly. It will get very, very ugly if the Democrats continue to participate in this. Obviously, the Republicans are at fault too. But if the Democrats take the Republicans' bait and go down this path, it's going to turn nasty, and Biden and Harris will be partially at fault. Finally, fracking. Back in the day, both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said they would ban fracking. They said fracking's a bad thing. We need 100% clean energy. We don't need fracking. We don't need fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are very bad and evil because they contribute to this thing called climate change. Now, you have to consider the costs of banning fracking. Banning fracking would cut off a major energy source in the United States. It may make it so that we're not energy independent anymore, and more energy, more fracking, more of that fossil fuel makes living a lot more affordable to working people. If you cut off that energy to working people, they're not going to live as well. They're simply not going to live as well. Their energy bills are going to go up, and firms are not going to be able to innovate and produce at the same levels that they had before. Now, you can argue that climate change is a big enough threat where banning fracking is a good thing to do, but at the same time, I'm not sure you're considering the full range of costs associated with destroying this economic opportunity. Now, to be fair, Kamala Harris in the debates said that she would not ban fracking, but she's also sponsored the Green New Deal in the Senate, so I don't know how she really feels. How I think the Democrats and Joe Biden are going to react is that they're going to go whichever way the wind blows. If the Democrats and the Democratic Party, the left, take control, if the left take controls of the Democratic Party and demands that the Democratic Party ban fracking, do what it can to go to 100% renewable energy as fast as possible, regardless of the costs, I think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will go along with that and they will ban fracking. On the other hand, they have to win an election right now, and Pennsylvania is on the line. There's a lot of mining in it, a lot of fracking activities, and if they ban fracking, that's not going to go over too well with voters. So that's what they're talking about right now. If they do ban fracking, they will incur massive costs on Americans and make living less affordable for Americans, some of whom can't afford a $400 emergency by raising their energy costs and raising their taxes. We have to consider that when we are choosing our next president and when they are choosing their economic policy. Alright, thanks you all so much for watching this video. Again, please comment, subscribe, do whatever you can to support this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.